Ye men of Israel, hear these words. Jesus of Nazareth, a man approved of God among you by miracles and wonders and signs, which God did by him in the midst of you, as ye yourselves also know.
Now this is on the day of Pentecost. He preaching to these people, and it was all Israel there. That's why he said, ye men of Israel. The Gentiles didn't come into the word wholesale until started coming into Acts the 10th chapter, which was years after this. But he said, you seen Jesus of Nazareth, all the stuff that he did, you heard about all that, miracles and wonders that God did by him. But what happened to him? 23.
Him being delivered by determinate counsel and foreknowledge of God.
It was already pre-planned, in other words. Jesus dying, even though wicked people killed him. Understand that wicked people did kill Jesus, but God had already, they had a plan worked out where it would be to our salvation. So him being delivered by the determinate counsel and foreknowledge of God, what they do?
Ye have taken and by wicked hands have crucified and slain.
See, wicked hands crucified him and slayed him. Go ahead, 24.
Whom God hath raised up.
But God raised him up from the dead. Go ahead.
Having loosed the pains of death.
Having loosed the pains of death. Go ahead.
Because it was not possible that he should be holden of it.
See, he couldn't hold him down. Death couldn't. He was only dead for 3 days and 3 nights. Go ahead.
For David speaketh concerning him.
Oh, we just read what David spoke concerning him. Let's see what he said again.
I foresaw the Lord always before my face. For he is on my right hand, that I should not be moved.
See, Psalm 16. Go ahead.
Therefore did my heart rejoice, and my tongue was glad.
Go ahead.
Moreover, also my flesh shall rest in hope.
Oh, therefore my heart rejoices and my tongue. Sound real familiar, don't it? Because it's Psalm 16, what we just read, 8 through 11. Go ahead.
Because thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither wilt thou suffer thine Holy One to see corruption.
Go ahead.
Thou hast made known to me the ways of life. Thou shalt make me full of joy with thy countenance.
See how people try to do away with the Old Testament and the New Testament, that's all it's doing is quoting it. Now, Peter just quoted that, ran that down verbatim like we read it, but now we're going to get his explanation. Verse 29.
Men and brethren, let me speak freely unto you of the patriarch David, that he is both dead and buried, and his sepulchre is with us unto this day.
See, Peter breaking it down. I said, let me tell you something. Let me speak freely. Let me break this down for you in other words. Let me tell you about David who spoke those words. David is both dead and buried, and his grave, that's what sepulchre means, is with us on this. Why is he saying that? Because he's trying to let these people know that David was not talking about himself, soul not being left in hell. David wasn't talking about himself. That was Jesus. That was about Jesus. So that's why he's making a point to tell you that David is dead. His grave, we can go get it. We can go show you his grave. His grave is here. But, go ahead, keep going.
Therefore, being a prophet, and knowing that God had sworn with an oath to him, that of the fruit of his loins, according to the flesh, he would raise up Christ to sit on his throne. He seeing this before spake of the resurrection of Christ.
Oh, he was speaking of the resurrection of Christ. It wasn't about himself. That was Christ speaking through David's mouth, literally. Talking about the resurrection of Christ. That what?
That his soul was not left in hell, neither his flesh did see corruption.
Oh, so Psalm 16, what we just read, is referring to Jesus died and resurrected. That his soul was not left in hell, because he got resurrected, and neither did his flesh see corruption. Go ahead, 32.
This Jesus hath God raised up, wherefore we are all witnesses.
Oh, so he got raised up. But where did he get raised up from? From hell. Because the grave is hell. That's why I said it again in verse 31, that his soul was not left in hell. He only stayed in hell 3 days and 3 nights. In other words, he only stayed in the grave for 3 days and 3 nights. But that's a condition of hell. Now let's go back to Psalm 30, like I said. Psalm 30, and he's going to make it plainer here. Because people say in a minute, they don't understand the terminology. They say the soul don't die. The soul can't die. See, the soul don't die. You don't understand what Jesus was saying when he was talking about we're going to read it too. Don't be afraid of them that kill the body and can't kill the soul. He was talking about that eternal soul. But you got a natural soul that's right now. That one can die and go to hell. And in that hell, I'm talking about the grave. But your eternal soul can go to hell fire. That's what you have to understand. 30:1, Psalm 30:1. Go ahead.
I will extol thee, O Lord, for thou hast lifted me up.
Go ahead.
And hast not made my foes to rejoice over me.
Uh-huh.
O Lord, my God, I cried unto thee, and thou hast healed me.
Uh-huh.
O Lord, thou hast brought up my soul from the grave.
Oh, now it's speaking a little more plain. Didn't use the word hell. It used the simple word that we recognize a little more easily, the grave. But it was talking about the grave all along when it said, not leave my soul in hell, right? And if the soul didn't die, this soul died and went to the grave, right? Somebody don't understand the terminology. Oh Lord, thou hast brought up my soul from the grave. Go ahead.
Thou hast kept me alive, that I should not go down to the pit.
I should not go down to the pit. That's where you don't want to go. But go to Daniel 12 right now. Daniel 12. Daniel 12, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Daniel 12 and verse 1. So we see in hell mean many different things. Bad predicament. You can be living in hell, which we are right now. You can be going through hell. You can die and go to the grave, and that's called hell. But things can even get worse than you dying and going to the grave. It's a worse hell than that. That's why, like I said, they got those Greek words, Hades. I don't have to use those words because I just know when I read it which one it's talking about. All you got to do is clarify. Gehenna and Hades and all that. Look, just know he give you the terminology of what he's talking about by reading what's around it. You know that this hell we've been reading about is talking about nothing but the grave. And we know when Satan got kicked out to the earth, it was referencing the earth, he called it hell. We know when Israel went in captivity, a bad predicament, it said hell opened her mouth and enlarged herself. That was talking about that condition. So all you got to do is read it with your eyes open. Now, Daniel 12:1. Go ahead.
And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as was never since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book.
See, this is talking about great tribulation that we read about a little bit earlier when we read about the man on the pale horse. And his name is Death, and hell followed him. This is that time where it's going to be a terrible time. So things are bad now. We living in hell now, but it's going to be worse. Hell is going to get worse until the Lord finally come back and take this whole thing over after tribulation and bring his kingdom on this earth. Then it'll be heaven right here on earth. That's what we're trying to make it to. That's why he said, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. When that happens, you have heaven here. Until that happens, you got hell here, and hell is going to get worse. But at this time, he said, he leading to the time when Jesus is going to come. He said, Michael going to stand up. It's going to be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered. Everyone that shall be found written in the book. Verse 2, he going to tell you where they coming from.
And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt.
Oh, now wait a minute. God is waking you up from the dust, and bringing you out of hell called the grave. He bringing you out of that hell, but then it's going to be determined whether you are in the kingdom with him, in the kingdom of heaven, which is going to be on the earth, or are you going to be in hell fire, which in this case is called everlasting contempt. See, this is when the worst hell is going to show up. And it's not going to show up till Jesus come back. That's what, see, nobody is in hell fire right now. That's the worst hell. Nobody's in that hell. You going through hell right now, sure enough. You can die and go to hell, the grave, but you still not in hell fire. That's what you want to avoid at all costs. So that's why he said, verse 2, many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake. Notice they were still sleeping in the dust of the earth. They hadn't died and went to glory like people lied to us and told us. When you die, you go to wherever they bury you at and you wait until the resurrection. Here's the resurrection here, verse 2. Many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake. Some to everlasting life. That's where you want to be at. And some to shame and everlasting contempt. But either way, you're going to wake with another type of body that can endure living in eternal life with God in the kingdom, or living in eternal contempt where Satan is going to be at with his bad angels. Because remember, they got kicked out of heaven, and you know they got a short time before judgment, and they go to this final place of torment. Everlasting contempt. See, people say God wouldn't punish you forever. What kind of God would do that? You know, he wouldn't do that. Look, what do everlasting contempt mean? That means you're going to have to live through it forever. And that seems incredible to imagine. But see, we thinking with our natural minds, you got to come up to speed with God. God is a spirit being. He could give you a body to make it last forever and torment you in hell all that time. He can do that. Satan already got it. He ain't got to make no change on Satan's body. See, and that's really what this hellfire was made for. But now mortals going to find their way into it by disobeying God. But read it again, verse 2.
And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake. Some to everlasting life.
That's the good side. Go ahead.
And some to shame and everlasting contempt.
Now let's let Jesus tell you about it. Go to John 5. Jesus is going to tell you about the same. So the whole Bible go together, brothers and sisters. Don't let nobody relegate you to the Old Testament only or to the New Testament only. They only deceiving you. John 5. Jesus is going to tell you the same thing. And again, it's that you know people don't die and float somewhere immediately. They wait on the resurrection. They have to wait on it. John 5 and verse 28. Go ahead.
Marvel not at this. For the hour is coming in which all that are in the grave shall hear his voice. And shall come forth. They that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation.
Now he said, don't marvel that the dead can come back. Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming in the which all, that's absolute, that are in the graves. That's where they're going to be at, by the way, until the hour get here. He said, the hour is coming, all that are in the grave shall hear his voice. He going to call them. And they shall come forth, they that have done good unto the resurrection of life. That's what Daniel just told us. They that sleep in the dust gonna come back. Some to everlasting life, and some to everlasting shame and contempt. Jesus said the same thing. They that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. See, this is what makes it so plain, and people want to lie and say, God gonna wake you up, but he ain't gonna torment you forever. You know, they actually got teaching like this. God he gonna wake you up, but then he just gonna put you back to sleep. That's gonna be your torment. Why even wake you up? That ain't even gonna hurt at all. Maybe you're gonna hurt for a second. Oh, you gonna put you back to sleep? Yep. He could have let you stay asleep. Some say, well, it's fire, but it's just going to burn up because they thinking natural. Yeah, if you put this natural body in some fire, yeah, it's going to burn up. It ain't going to be nothing but ashes in a few minutes. So it's going to burn up. But you got to get out of the natural. He making this for spirit beings, and he can make you a spirit being. Jesus cannot lie, brothers and sisters. Jesus just said, the hour is coming in which all that are in the graves going to hear his voice, and shall come forth, they that have done good unto the resurrection of life, and they that have done evil unto the resurrection of damnation. He waking you up to damn you. And this damnation is called hell. Better described as hell fire. It's different from all the hells we've been talking about. Let's go look at it further. Go to Psalm 86. Back up to Psalm 86. Then we're going to come back and we're going to start wrapping it up. Psalm 86. See, just like I said in the beginning, we know it's more than one heaven. You know, you just got to identify when you read in the Bible. The Bible tell you it's a third heaven. It's a heaven of heavens. That's the heaven where the Father and the Son is at right now, sitting on the throne. All the angels. That's the third heaven, the heaven of heaven. But where the sun and the moon, when you're in the clouds, that's a heaven too. And the heaven where we striving to be at is right here on earth. It's going to be heaven right here when His will is done on earth as it is in heaven. So it's three heavens, and it's multiple conditions of hell as well. We've been looking at them. That's why he said something like this in Psalm 86 and 11. 86 and 11. Go ahead.
Teach me thy way, O Lord, and I will walk in thy truth.
See, you need to be taught, though. That's the key to all things. He said, teach me thy way, O Lord, and I will walk in thy truth. Go ahead.
Unite my heart to fear thy name.
And you need to be taught to fear God. See, like I said, if it wasn't for finding out about this, I might have took my chances. Because, you know, it's a lot of fun you can have in the world. I done been there and done it. But the thing that changed my mind was the fear of knowing what God is going to do. If it wasn't for that, I might have took my chance. If it was just like, see, and that's why preachers are leading people to hell fire, because they not warning them to fear God. They not warning them how dangerous God is and that God is going to torment you forever. They not warning them. That's why preachers don't talk about none of this stuff, because this don't sell. Ain't nobody running to put their money up to here. You might go to hell forever. Don't nobody really want to pay to hear that. So preachers know what sells, so the smooth stuff sells. That's why even when they come close to something like this, a lot of times they use the phrase, well, you know, if you don't do right, you might be eternally lost. What do that really mean, eternally lost? Just say you're going to end up in hell fire, hurting, in pain. They don't never say nothing like that. Like I said, the organ player won't know what to play behind that, because they used to playing the smooth stuff, making everybody feel fuzzy and ready to donate some money. But now, he said, teach me thy way, O Lord, and I will walk in thy truth. Unite my heart to fear thy name. Fear. We need to learn to fear God. You need to be scared of God more than you would be scared of the police or anybody else that got some authority over you. You need to be scared of God more than that. More than somebody that can take your life in this world. You need to be scared of God more than that. But we don't have that fear right now as a whole. Go ahead, verse 12.
I will praise thee, O Lord my God, with all my heart, and I will glorify thy name evermore. Great is thy mercy toward me. Thou hast delivered my soul from the lowest hell.
Oh, he said, great is your mercy toward me. Thou hast delivered my soul from the lowest hell. If you say lowest hell, that means it must be degrees of hell, right? Mm-hmm. It's some type of degrees of hell. And we're going to get to the lowest degree of hell now. And that's hell fire. That's the one you don't want to deal with. Go to Revelation 2. See, since Adam sinned, we all was forced into dying a physical death. But that ain't nothing. I mean, don't nobody want to die, but that ain't nothing compared to the hell fire death. That ain't nothing compared to that, because that is just sleep. That is just sleep. You ain't feeling no pain. Sometimes that's better than living in this hell. Not that you want to make that choice yourself, because I don't want nobody to say, yeah, he said that's better than living. I'm going to commit suicide. No, don't be stupid, because again, he going to wake you up. But I'm talking about when that time comes for somebody and they in pain and agony, they suffering. You know, you seen people get sick and been sick a long time. Hey, death is a relief, right? They don't have to deal with that no more. And they don't know nothing after that. They don't know nothing after that. They not agonized. They not people say, well, you know, my mother smiling down. No, they ain't smiling down. They don't know nothing. And they don't even know none of the bad stuff. Because it ain't just stuff to smile down about, is it? It's stuff that'll make them turn over in their grave, as people say, too. That never ceased to amaze me, how they went from smiling down in heaven and turned over in their grave the next minute. What they jumped locations, what happened? Stuff don't make no sense. But the bottom line is, we was given the first death, which is sleep, but notice this, we got something else to worry about. Revelation 2 and 1 verse 11. Go ahead.
He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches.
You got to hear it. Go ahead.
He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death.
And you got to overcome this thing. And if you do overcome, he that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death. That lets you know it is a second death, right?
That's right.
See, we got the first one coming. But that ain't the one that you should be that scared of. I mean, I don't want that one. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want that one. I hope I can make it to the Lord comes. A handful of people going to live till the Lord come, and he just going to give you a new body. He just going to change. So I don't want the first one, but I know I take the first one because I might have to, but I definitely got to get out the second one. You can't deal with the second one. And this is what he's telling you here. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death. That's the one going to hurt you, brother and sister. That is hell fire. That's why the title is hell. Things are bad now, but can always be worse. And hell fire is it. That's the one you don't want. Let's look at it. Revelation 20. Let's get to the second death. Revelation 20. See, when you understand this, then you don't get tripped up when you read the same words referring to different things. It's just like we're going to read where it say, he going to basically tell us, yeah, he going to bring some people back from hell and put them in hell. See, if you didn't know the different types of hell and the condition, that don't make no sense. People have asked me that for years. Say, what do you mean? Who is these people? He say, they coming from hell and they going to hell. Yeah, because it's two conditions. It's the first death. That's hell. That's the hell Jesus even got that one, right? To get us out of death. But then it's the second death that's hell fire. Revelation 20 and 11. Revelation 20 and 11. Go ahead.
And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and heaven fled away. And there was found no place for them.
Go ahead.
And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God.
See, they got to come back. The dead got to come back. They don't go nowhere when they die, but wherever you bury them at. They don't go nowhere. And it don't matter even if you cremate them. God got their number. He going to bring them back. All of them. He said, I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God. Go ahead.
And the books were opened.
He got books. God is technical. He got some books that you couldn't even lie your way. You couldn't even lie. I said, that wasn't me, God. He said, bring them books. Go ahead.
And another book was opened, which is the book of life.
Go ahead.
And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works.
See, you getting judged out of See, you got that judgment. That's how I know you couldn't die and go straight to heaven or hell anyway. That don't make no sense. But nobody, you go to the grave. Nobody went to heaven or hell. The only one went to heaven was Jesus when he died, but he went in the grave for 3 days and 3 nights. Then he resurrected and eventually ascended back to heaven. But that's because he resurrected. But he said, I saw the dead, small and great, and he brought those books. They were open, and the book of life, and the dead were judged. All those things which were written in the books according to their works. People say, you ain't got to do nothing. Don't bet on it. According to their works, right? 13. Right.
And the sea gave up the dead which were in it.
Oh, wherever you died at, God got your number. They can never recover you from the sea, but God gonna recover you. He said the sea gave up the dead which were in it, right? Go ahead.
And death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them.
See, now death and hell delivered up dead. Wherever you died at, in other words, death, you could just got blown to smithereens. You just dead. You coming back. Death, and then hell. What's hell in this case? The grave. That's why they use the word Gehenna and Hades. Look, just understand what it's talking about. You ain't got to use the Greek words. Understand what it's talking about. This hell is the grave. This the hell that Jesus went through. Jesus only stayed 3 days and 3 nights. Everybody else got to stay till the first resurrection. Death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and what?
And they were judged, every man according to their work.
And then what?
And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire.
Uh-huh.
This is the second death.
Oh, now that's it right there. Now it comes all together. All death from now on is going to be consigned to this one location, and that is the lake of fire. That's why he called it the second death, didn't he? He said death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. This is the one you don't want. Go ahead.
And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire.
The lake of fire. This is the second death. Let's get a little description of it though again. Let's make sure, because people say God wouldn't hurt you forever. Keep your finger in Revelation. We're going to go to Matthew 2. Keep your finger right here in Revelation. We're coming right back. We're going to go to Matthew 5, I should say. Matthew 5. We're coming back to Revelation. Let's look at this lake of fire. People try to tell you what God won't do. He wouldn't do that. You don't think you should fear God if you think like that. 5 and 21. Matthew 5 and 21. Go ahead.
Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not kill.
People want to do away with the law. Jesus not doing away with the law. Matter of fact, he enhancing it for you. More than thou should not kill. You definitely don't need to kill, but you need to watch out even before you get to the point to kill somebody. You heard it was said thou shalt not kill, but what does Jesus say?
And whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment.
Go ahead.
But I say unto you, that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of judgment.
Oh, you ain't got to kill to get in danger of judgment, Jesus saying. He said, you mad with somebody without a cause, you getting in danger of the judgment. And what else?
And whosoever shall say to his brother, Rakha, shall be in danger of the council. But whosoever shall say, thou fool, shall be in danger of hell fire.
Oh, you done really went over. You said, thou fool, you in danger of hell fire. He laid it out there. See, this is the top of the line hell, or the bottom of the line, however you want to describe it. Hell fire. He said, you in danger of hell fire. Let's see what that danger is about. Go back to Revelation 19. See, and again, nobody is there yet. Nobody is in hell fire right now. That's the good news. And this is what we all want to try to avoid. Revelation 19 and verse 11. See, hell fire is going to be introduced or opened up. This location, the final destination for all the wicked. It's going to be opened up when Jesus come back. When he make his second coming. It's going to be right here on the earth. People that's left will be able to see people in hell fire. That's going to be an awesome sight. One you ain't going to quickly forget. 19 and 11. Go ahead.
And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True.
Now Jesus coming back. And what he doing when he come back? Go ahead.
And in righteousness he doth judge and make war.
See, people don't even tell us that. This is what Jesus' mission is. When he come back, he is judging and making war. He going to judge the whole world. And he going to make war on these nations to put them in their place because they will not listen. If Jesus came back right now and tried to call a meeting with all the presidents and prime ministers, since people act like they believe Jesus is really King of Kings, they got songs that they sing, yo, he's King of Kings. And they don't really believe it, though, because if he came back and tried to call a meeting with them, they'd laugh at him. So he know how they going to act, so he gonna come and put a hurting on them. He's judging and making war, and when it all come down, skip down to verse 17, let's see how the war go. Go ahead.
And I saw an angel standing in the sun, And he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, Come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great God.
See, God got a supper for all the birds and the beasts, because he's doing a lot of killing here. The slain of the Lord going to be all over the world. Go ahead, 18.
That they may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and of them that sat on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, small and great. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth, and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat upon the horse, and against his army.
See, the kings of this earth, the revived Roman Empire, and their leaders, and the other kings of the earth are going to try to fight the Lord when he comes. The Bible is clear on that. Many scriptures let you know that, not just this one. So they're going to fight him that's coming back with the sky rolling back, and against his army. Verse 20, what are he going to do?
And the beast was taken with him, the false prophet that wrought miracles before him.
Now the two leaders of this revived empire, which is this beast, is like an emperor. He's like an emperor. Just like the last one they had, really, had some salt, was Mussolini, Benito Mussolini. He's the last one. But it's going to be another one that's going to come, and he's going to work hand in hand with the religious man who's called the false prophet in this verse. So the beast was taken. That's an individual. That's a man. It's an emperor. And with him, the false prophet that did the miracles. The false prophet worked the miracles before him with what?
With which he deceived them which had received the mark of the beast.
See, these the ones was making people, this ain't happened yet. It's coming soon, though. These the ones going to force people to take the mark of the beast. So this is after the fact here. The Lord getting ready to get them, because everybody who they got to take the mark of the beast, who they scared into doing it, or who they induced to doing it, tricked to do it, they going to hell. If you take the mark of the beast, you going to hell, and not just any hell, hell fire, if you take that mark. So that's why the Lord he gonna get them right away. When Jesus show up, they at the top of his agenda, and you think it's a rapture. No, Jesus is gonna deal with the world. The beast was taken, and with him the false prophet wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and what?
And them that worshiped his image.
What happened to these two individuals?
These both were cast alive unto a lake of fire burning with brimstone.
Welcome to hell. Hell fire. These will be the first two individuals in this location. They will be the first two. Nobody made it before them. The devil got kicked out of heaven to the earth that was called hell. And he's been wreaking hell all over the earth all this time, but he ain't even in hell fire yet. Nobody is in hell fire yet. These will be the first two. They're going to beat judgment. They're going to get there before judgment day. We read about judgment day when many people going to go then, but they going soon as Jesus come back. And Jesus is so irate at these two individuals, he's not even going to kill them physically, the first death, wake them up and put them in the second death. He's going to take them from life, bypass the first death, into the second. Boy, God is awesome. He could kill you quick. He gonna put them straight in the second death. That's what he said. Read it again, because y'all don't hear me.
And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, which he had deceived them which had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone.
Notice they are alive, because the second death is a living death. Now they are alive in the lake of fire. What about everybody else who's not on God's side? Verse 21.
And the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceedeth out of his mouth. And all the fowls were filled with their flesh.
See, the remnant, Jesus just killed them physical death, the first death. He just killed them physically. They just died. He burned them up with regular fire in this type of body, and they died. And they going to get awakened at the second resurrection. But now, go to, we're going to come back to Revelation. Go to Isaiah 66. Isaiah 66. And we're going to read about the same thing over here. Because, see, they're going to be there. Those two men, the beast and the false prophet, they're going to be alone in the fire for 1,000 years. And the Lord going to clean the earth up. It's going to be none but peace on earth. But everybody that's left, flesh and blood going to be left, they're going to be able to see those two individuals over there. Isaiah 66 and verse 15. 66 and 15. Okay, go ahead.
For behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire.
See the Lord coming in flame and fire to take over this world. Go ahead.
For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh.
And how many he gonna kill? Go ahead.
And the slain of the Lord shall be many.
That's a lot. Slain of the Lord, though. Go ahead.
They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith the Lord.
See, that show you, like we read last night, eating swine's flesh is not something you want to be doing. Even just reading this, you should say, I'll be safe and sorry. Because he's talking about consuming. Because if you can't stop eating swine's flesh, you can't stop fornicating and stealing and killing and doing other stuff. Go ahead, 18.
For I know their works and their thoughts. It shall come that I will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my glory.
See, the Lord going to humble the world, then everybody going to have to come and worship him. They going to come see the Lord's glory. He going to be on this earth, brothers and sisters. He's told you, pray thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is. He going to change this hellish world into a heavenly place. But now, go to back up to verse 10, and let's see how it's going to look a little bit. Just a little bit. Verse 10. Go ahead.
Rejoice ye with Jerusalem.
Because Jerusalem is his capital. Jesus said, don't even swear by Jerusalem in Matthew 5. Don't even swear by it. He's talking about the city over there now that they fighting over, doing all kind of dirt in. He going to fix all of this. And rejoice with Jerusalem and be what?
And be glad with her.
Go ahead.
All ye that love her.
You need to love her according to this. But rejoice for joy with what?
Rejoice for joy with her, and all ye that mourn for her. That I may suck.
That ye may suck.
That ye may suck and be satisfied with the breast of her consolation. That ye may milk out.
That you may milk out. Go ahead.
And be delighted with the abundance of her glory.
Go ahead.
For thus saith the Lord, behold, I will extend peace to her like rivers.
That's what he's getting ready to do when he come back. He got to do a lot of killing to do it, but he going to do it. Go ahead.
And the glory of the Gentiles like a flowing stream. Then shall ye suck. Ye shall be borne upon her sides, and be dandled upon her knees. As one whom his mother comforteth, so will I comfort you, and ye shall be comforted in Jerusalem.
See, that's what he going to do. He going to reign from Jerusalem. He is the king sitting on the throne when he come back. Go to the 23rd verse, because everybody going to have to worship him coming up to Jerusalem. And let's see what else they going to see, though. We want to get to them two men that's in hell, because they going to be in hell at this time when Jesus come back. As soon as he come back, they going. 23.
And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, saith the Lord.
See, all flesh, it's going to be flesh and blood left when Jesus comes. It's going to be some immortals, but it's still going to be flesh and blood. And he's going to fix this world up right. Babies going to be born. People going to be living hundreds of years because it's going to be good. It's going to be heaven. Ain't going to be this hell that we living in now where you likely to die any moment from anything. Kids go to school, get shot up. All flesh going to come to worship before him every cycle. But go ahead, 24.
And they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses of the men that have transgressed against me.
See, not only are they going to worship and see the Lord said, look, y'all going back home to y'all prospective countries. On your way home, take a peep over there. Look, turn left as you leave. Go down, and you're going to see something. He said, they shall go forth and look upon the carcasses. Carcasses mean death, but they ain't literally dead. This is the second death. The carcasses of the men that have transgressed against me. What it look like? Go ahead.
For their worms shall not die.
Oh, they not expired dead. They in a death condition. They in hell fire. For their worm shall not die, neither what?
Neither shall their fire be quenched.
Oh, the fire ain't gonna get put out at all. Go ahead.
And they shall be an abhorring unto all flesh.
Oh, that's gonna be abhorrent to all flesh. Now, that's them two men. Go to Revelation 20 again. Back to Revelation 20. We almost done. Revelation 20. And we're going to pick it up at verse 6. Revelation 20 and verse 6. Okay. Go ahead.
Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death hath no power.
See, if you were immortal at the first resurrection when Jesus comes, you ain't got to worry about the second death and the lake of fire. Go ahead, because you with him. Go ahead.
But they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years.
1,000 years. Now, this is after he put the two men in the fire. You going to reign with him 1,000 years because he's going to take over this world. Go ahead.
And when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison.
See, Satan going to be put in prison when Jesus come back, but he not put in hell fire. The men went to hell fire. Go ahead.
And shall go out and deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea.
So Satan going to deceive people. This is 1,000 years after the second coming of Jesus. 1,000 years after he put the beast and the false prophet in the lake of fire. Keep going.
And they went upon the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about, and the beloved city. And fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them.
Now these men going to be deceived, and the Father going to send fire down and devour. But this is what we want to get to. Now what's happening with the devil? His time has come. Verse 10.
And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone.
Now he got his day. His day is came. Cast into the lake of fire and brimstone. But notice who had beat him there. Go ahead.
Where the beast and the false prophet are.
Oh, the beast and the false prophet beat him there, them two men. They beat him there. And notice they still there. It didn't say where they used to be. They've been there 1,000 years at this point. 1,000 years, and they still there being tormented. That's where it said where the beast and the false prophet are. Go ahead.
And shall be tormented day and night forever and ever.
How long is that?
That's right.
Day and night forever and tormented? How we going to lie to people like these preachers do and tell them, well, God wouldn't torment you forever, when it say day and night forever and ever? Come on now. Revelation 14. God wouldn't do that. But I'm not surprised people lie about hell fire. They lie about hell the grave. They lie about that. Oh, they not really dead. They went to be with the Lord. And you get taking them out burial, putting flowers on their tomb every year. But you tricked yourself and said they with the Lord. 14, Revelation 14 and 9. Go ahead.
And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand.
See, this is why the Lord had to put these two men right in the fire. He was so mad at them because they made a lot of people take this mark. And he already has said, if any man take the mark or worship this stuff, what's going to happen to him?
The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And their smoke and the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever. And they have no rest.
They have no rest. Go ahead.
Day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints.
See, when you know this, you know at all costs you better not take the mark of the beast. And it won't be a rapture to get you away from it. So you're gonna have some contemplating to do. Here's the patience of the saints. Here what?
Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus.
See, you got to have more than faith, brothers and sisters. You got to make up your mind to keep God's commandments. That's what to keep you out of hell fire. Even at the point where the man trying to kill you, you do good to let this man kill you than take this mark and go to hell fire. Jesus is going to tell you that. Go ahead, 13.
And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, write, Blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors and their works do follow
See,
them.
you be better off to let them kill you. You be blessed if you do that at this time. You got it made. Hey, you got a shot to go one way or the other. You better, hey, get this life up so you can get eternal life. If you find yourself in this predicament, I'm going to run first. If I can get away, fine. But now, Matthew 25. Matthew 25. We almost done. Matthew 25 and verse 31. We're going to read it again. This is all taking place when Jesus comes. Nobody's in hellfire yet. That's the top of the line. That's what you want to avoid. So you're doing pretty good in this hell. This hell ain't bad as it can get. Even though it's rough, it's not bad as it can get. 25 and 31. Matthew 25 and 31. Go ahead.
When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory.
Notice it's all about Jesus coming back. Jesus got to come back and fix this. It ain't about you going to heaven. It's about him coming back. When the Son of Man come in his glory and all the holy angels with him, they come in from heaven. This is when the sky rolled back, the heaven, and he coming to judge and make war. Same time. Go ahead.
And before him shall be gathered all nations.
Go ahead.
And he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats.
He gonna check everybody out and see what you've been doing. Santa Claus can't do it, but Jesus gonna find out if you've been naughty or nice. He know it already. Go ahead.
And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left.
Go ahead.
Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world.
This is where you want to be at, on the right. That's why Jesus said, those that have done good going to come forth to the resurrection of life. But we can't leave out the negative. See, preachers want to leave out all negativity. They don't want you to think about it. Look, you need to think about it. Maybe that'll help you do the right thing. You need some incentive. Skip over to verse 41. Let's think about it. Go ahead.
Then shall he say also unto them on the left
hand.
hand.
We can't forget about the ones on the left. As much as I don't want to be on there, but I got to read about it. Go ahead.
Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire.
How long fire?
Everlasting fire.
Everlasting fire. Go ahead.
Prepared for the devil and his angels.
And it was made for immortals. So you know it's going to last forever, because the devil can't die the first death. His angels can't die the first death, be put to sleep. God didn't make them with that capability. He had to come up with something eternal for them. And that's what we're getting ourselves caught up in. We got a choice when we're born in this world to get eternal life with God or get eternal damnation where the devil and his angels going to reside at. He said, depart from me, you cursed. Jesus is telling you this. Into everlasting fire. Somebody act like the fire going to get put out. And it was prepared for the devil and his angels. Just in case, skip down to verse 46. Go ahead.
And these shall go away into everlasting punishment.
Everlasting punishment, but where you want to go? Go ahead.
The righteous into life eternal.
Okay, Luke 12, and we almost done. One more. Luke 12, and one more after this. And people don't fear this. People, oh, God wouldn't do that. People knocking on your door lying to you. Telling me, God wouldn't do that. You know, he wouldn't do, what kind of God would do that? The one in the Bible. Unfortunately for you, the only God. 12 and 1. Luke 12 and 1. Go ahead.
In the meantime, when there were gathered together an innumerable multitude of people, insomuch that they trode one upon another, he began to say unto his disciples, first of all, beware ye of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy.
That's these religious leaders. We got them today, but go ahead.
For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be made known.
See, it's all going to come out in the wash, but go ahead.
Therefore, whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light. And that which ye have spoken in the ears and closets shall be proclaimed upon the rooftop.
That's why it don't do no good to try to hide. You know, you worried about hiding from people for what you doing. Now, the one you got to worry about, you can't hide from him, and that's God. But go ahead.
And And I say unto you, my friends, be not afraid of them that kill the body.
Oh, now Jesus said, don't fear them that kill the body. I told you the worst thing to fear is this hellfire. It's God, because he can do this to you. Jesus is telling you, just like the beast and the false prophet going to be able to kill your body in a short while. But Jesus is warning you, don't be afraid of them that kill the body. Why he got to say that unless if you are serving a God, you in jeopardy to be killed in this wicked world that's hell. Be not afraid of them that kill the body, and what?
And after that have no more that they can do.
They can do no more once they do that. But what about God? Verse 5.
But I will forewarn you whom you shall fear.
Oh, I'm going to tell you who you need to fear. Who?
Fear him which after he hath killed hath power to cast into hell.
Uh-huh.
Yea, I say unto you, fear him.
That's the one you need to fear. And that hell is referencing hellfire, not just any old condition of hell, right?
That's right.
One more place, Mark 9. Mark 9. And I'm almost on time, so LA going to start streaming when we get done with this lesson. Mark 9 and verse 42. Mark 9 and verse 42. Okay, go ahead.
And whosoever shall offend one of these little ones that believeth in me, it is better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and he were cast into the sea.
See, Jesus don't play, and that's what let you know he mean when he said vengeance is mine. That's why you ain't got to worry about taking vengeance on nobody. Even the people that's going to get killed during great tribulation by the beast and the false prophet, you ain't got to have no hatred for nobody, because Jesus is going to get them. He, in other words, like it said, he going to have your back. He letting you know he going to see people, they talking about Jesus won't hurt nobody and he love everybody. They done made Jesus out to be like just so cream puffy. But he's saying right here, whosoever offend one of these little ones that believe in me, it were better for him. He said, look, this would be better for you. This Jesus talking. That a millstone were hanged about his neck and he was cast into the sea. He said, look, that'd be better than what I'm going to do to you. 43.
And if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off.
If your hand offend thee, cut it off. Go ahead.
It is better for thee to enter into life maimed than having two hands to go into hell, into the fire that shall never be quenched.
Now, this is serious stuff, brothers and sisters. You want to avoid this at all costs according to Jesus' words, right? This ain't nothing we making up. Jesus said, look, I'm telling you, and he mean this. If your hand was the problem, he is telling you just chop it off right now. But see, your hand ain't the problem, disobeying God. That's the problem, but he's giving you a strong analogy, isn't it?
Right.
Whatever the problem is, you do good to cut it off right now. He said, if your hand is the problem, cut it off. It's better for you to enter into life maimed. Just get used to one hand and then have two good hands to go into hell, into the fire that never shall be quenched. This is a place you don't want to see at all, do you? See, and we think, oh, that's, see, people, they say, that's radical. Look, hey, that's the way it is. You will get rid of body part to save your life in this life, right? How much more the lake of fire? You know, I've seen people got all kind of limbs cut off because their body was infected and it was going to kill them. So they get it cut off. I've seen that happen. So Jesus telling you something that, hey, that's going on right now, really? But he's talking about lake of fire. You can't get out of this. Go ahead, verse 44.
Where their worm dieth not, and the fire is not quenched.
And what else?
And if thy foot offend thee, cut it off. It is better for thee to enter halt into life than having 2 feet to be cast into hell, into the fire that never shall be quenched.
Same thing for the foot. Go ahead.
Where their worm dieth not, and the fire is not
See,
quenched.
he naming crucial body parts. He ain't just name a finger. He said the whole hand. He ain't just name a toe. He said the whole foot. Now what else?
And if thine eye offend thee,
And if your eye is the problem, do what?
pluck it out.
Pluck it out. He's serious. But he letting you know how serious this is. He told you he going to tell you who you need to fear. Pluck it out. Why?
It is better for thee to enter into the kingdom of God with one eye.
It'd be better to put a patch over your other eye and get to stepping. Go ahead.
Than having two eyes.
Than having two good eyes to be cast into what?
Into hell fire.
Into hell fire. You don't want that. Go ahead.
Where their worm dieth not, and the fire is not quenched.
And I hope you got some understanding in Jesus' name. So we're going to cut our stream where they can start streaming the Brother Brian lesson out in L.A. He got a good lesson. He's been doing some good lessons. And we're going to have our announcements.
Our prayer is that the eyes of your understanding were enlightened by today's lesson. DVDs and CDs of all of our lessons are available. Please place your order in the offering box with your donation. Your order will be ready the next Sabbath. Tune in to Thy Kingdom Come television program, which airs in various locations and or on YouTube. Feel free to join us at all of our Bible study classes. They are Question and Answer Bible Study every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. via our conference call line. Sabbath services are held twice, Friday night at 8 p.m. and Saturday at 1 p.m. Children's Bible classes for ages 4 through 12, Saturday at 11:30 a.m. Teen Forum Bible class, ages 13 through 19, Saturday at 5 p.m. See your lesson heading for other classes, locations, and info. We baptize in the name of Jesus. If you feel you are ready to be baptized, please sign the list at the podium and or speak to Brother Wayne, that's me, or Brother Devin. Our dress code is all clothing should be modest in appearance. Nothing tight-fitting, overly baggy, sagging, or revealing should be worn during the services. Men are to remove hats and or head coverings, while women should wear a head covering such as a hat or a scarf, according to 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter, verses 1 through 7. If your young child becomes noisy during the lesson, distracting other members, please remove him or her from the sanctuary. For your convenience, we have a TV monitoring area in the rear of the class. Any tithes and or free will offerings should be put in an offering envelope and placed in the offering box at the front of the sanctuary. Please pray for our strength as we pray for you. Peace and blessings to you and yours in the name of Jesus. Peace.
Peace. And I'm going to mention a couple of things. We know it's tax season, so we mail out letters to all the people that make donations to us throughout the year. And that's something, if you choose to, you can, of course, claim it on your income tax. So you should have got those letters. If not, you can check with us. And if you got some issue with it, then let us know as well, because, you know, everybody, we don't have no paid person doing it. We got people who volunteer to do it, but they do a good job. But if it is a problem, let us know. And because we want you to get all the donation back you can get. Maybe you'll donate some more. So we don't want you to get shortchanged. So if there's something wrong, if it's a discrepancy, then let us know and we can straighten it out. But those, you should have those already. Also, again, we do the monthly fast every month. Those is willing to participate in this one. We do it kind of toward the end of the Lord's month. So the Lord's month is coming to an end next week. So this one will be Wednesday, February 6th at sundown to sundown. We're going to have a monthly fast. We're a few days ahead this time because we didn't want to fast closer to the Sabbath day. And because the new moon don't come until maybe the 10th or the 11th, and that starts the new month. But anyway, the fast is going to be the 6th of February, this Wednesday night at sundown to sundown. Also, we're getting girded up for the feast. The feast coming in about 7 weeks. We're going to have the Passover and then the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So that's something to keep in mind. And Sister Robin, she working on the calendars. So she going to have them ready for us real soon. And other than that, I've been sitting tight for a little bit because I've been traveling so much, but I got to hit the road next week. But I'll be here Friday night. So, but next Saturday I got to go to Indy. I done treated them like stepchildren too long. So I'll be in Indianapolis. Then after that I got to go to LA, then to Philly. So I'll be gone probably from Saturday service the next 3 out of 4 weeks. But we got good brothers that fill in and teach when I'm not here, so that shouldn't be a problem. Other than that, and that's the one thing we still got to work on. We got to get a place in Philly. We managed to move to another hotel, which is good. It seemed to be a better location for us, but we still need a regular building that we can kind of call our own. So we still working on that, Lord willing.